Hey guys, so we are here today to talk about Kristen Leanne again. So in about December of 2019, I believe, 2020, December of 2020, I filmed a video called We Need to Talk About Kristen Leanne. It addressed the Insider article, her past of homophobia and racism and other problematic issues, what this meant for Arctic Fox as a brand, and supporting them. Kristen Leanne released a video a couple days ago where she announced that she has sold her interest in Arctic Fox and that she is no longer involved in the company. And so I kind of wanted to touch base on this. I'll give you a little Sparks Notes version of the Insider article and what my original video was about, and then discuss what this means for the brand, why I think it happened, and if it means that it's now acceptable to support them. I mean, obviously you can do whatever you want with your money, but my kind of perspective, as I am someone that did stop supporting them when the article came out. So before I get into this video, subscribe to my channel. I upload twice a week. I think I'll have 3 up this week. I think this will be my second this week, or third. I don't know. So you should stick around. We do commentary, curvy girl style, whatever I'm feeling. And yeah, let's get into it. So Sparks Notes version was an article came out from Insider basically about Kristen Leanne and her involvement in the company. Now it did come out in the article that her and Ryan Morgan, her ex-husband now, husband at the time, were not actually founders of Arctic Fox. They had actually found the company, really liked it, and had pitched to buy in ownership, I guess. So I think like from a business standpoint, that's technically actually considered a co-founder, and you can say you're a co-founder of the business from what I've kind of seen. But I think from like a consumer standpoint, when someone tells you that me and my husband are co-founders of a company, the perception is that you two created this company together, but that's not actually what happened. And so in the article, they talk about how Kristen Leanne would call her husband Ryan gay slurs at work. He like dyes his hair and wears makeup and nail polish, so like I guess that would be seen as more feminine qualities, and so she would call him gay slurs, and also had said other gay slurs in regards to the looks of some of the women that were hired for shoots, insinuating that they looked like lesbians, whatever a lesbian looks like, and just kind of overall homophobic remarks and showing that she's closed-minded. There was also a part of the article that talked about Kristen Leanne's racist past. She was caught saying the N-word in 2019 at a Saweetie show. She has a history of complaining about inclusive palettes, like complaining that it was made for dark skin and not light skin. Kind of complaining. She has a slur tattooed on her for Mexican people. Now she does have this tattoo with her Mexican friend, but like, I don't know, if I had a black friend who told me I could say the N-word and then we got tattoos together, I certainly wouldn't put the N-word on my body. Just thoughts. So there's that, and then there is them in regards to Black Lives Matter. So in the article, it talks about how the company had to really push both Kristen and Ryan to do something for Black Lives Matter. I think they wanted to donate to a Black Lives Matter charity for the month of June of 2020, because remember, they normally donate, I think 15% of their proceeds to animal charities. So the company suggested doing a Black Lives Matter charity or something in that realm to combat racism, to show their support as a brand. I mean, lots of companies were doing it, and of course a lot of it is performative, like in this case, but money was still being put towards good causes, so it's not all bad. But in the article, it talks about how both Kristen and Ryan saw this as being, didn't want to be seen as being political. And I said in my original video, human rights are not political issues, and if you think human rights is a political issue, you're both privileged and ignorant. And there was pushback in there, and then they also asked their employees to come back into the office in June of 2020 when we were in the height of the pandemic, and some employees insinuated that it was because they didn't want them protesting for Black Lives Matter. And when the employees pushed back about it being unsafe, they were let go from their jobs a couple weeks later by Ryan and Kristen, and that they thought that it was a retaliation for them not wanting to come back into the office. And Insider did find proof that these positions were filled later on. So like Kristen and Ryan basically said that, oh, COVID was affecting the business, so they had to let some people go because of that. But they refused to disclose any statements. But in reality, they saw evidence of these jobs being hired for again, so it kind of just felt like they wanted to get rid of those employees and hire new, potentially more ignorant ones. So that is what happened in the article. Lots of racism, lots of homophobia, and a lot of people were super disappointed. Kristen has had a past littered with problematic behavior and issues. They had all been kind of small though and kind of blown over, and she's not a super huge influencer, so I think she had kind of been able to skate by, but the Insider article kind of put it all together, and a lot of people were not impressed. Personally, I stopped supporting the brand, and now that Kristen has posted a video saying that she is out, the question is kind of like, what is the future? Is it now okay for those of us to support them? And like, why did she step down? So, I mean, my theory is that this was the same situation as the Kat Von D situation with KVD Cosmetics. It kind of feels like Kristen was forced out. In the article, the staff they spoke to did say that Kristen was negatively impacting the business. Like, they would get messages from fans saying like, wow, I saw this thing Kristen did, what the fuck? Or like, Kristen did this and so I can't support your brand. And they were like, it was a struggle because while Kristen was awful, the people who were working behind the brand, you know, believed in the cause and like were like nice people, and they had to deal with this shit because Kristen sucked. So I think what happened was a lot of people stopped supporting Arctic Fox after the Insider article came out. They really didn't touch on it. Arctic Fox as a brand said nothing, which I thought was disgusting. However, because Kristen and Ryan were in control, I can see why that happened. However, since there are other investors, I'm surprised that they didn't do anything else. Kristen put out a statement saying that it was just people who had been let go and they were jealous, but I don't believe that for a second, especially based on her history. So I think that it had hurt the brand. There are some hair accounts that I follow that like do fun hair color on YouTube, and a lot of them had stopped supporting Arctic Fox because of the Insider article, and I think a lot of consumers as well. Like, people are much more inclined to buy with their dollar now and into the future, and I think that that is pretty apparent, and I think that it hurt the company and they pushed them out. So Kristen Leanne has been bought out according to her video. Now, I did email Arctic Fox. This information I think dropped on Friday, so it's now Sunday when I'm filming this, and tomorrow's a holiday, so hopefully by the time I'm editing this I'll get a response from them, because I asked for a confirmation that Kristen Leanne has no say in the business, because when Doe Deer was bought out of Lime Crime Cosmetics, when they said like she's no longer in charge, it just meant that she wasn't making like decisions in the company, but she was still on the board of directors and directly profiting from the company, which is why I will not support Lime Crime. Whereas with Kat Von D's situation, you can see this is a pattern with businesses. With the Kat Von D situation, KVD Beauty made it explicitly clear that Kat Von D would no longer be profiting from the company, so a lot of people felt more inclined to purchase, because it's not that we don't like the brands or the products. I love Arctic Fox hair color, but I don't want to directly put my money in the pockets of someone who believes racism and homophobia is okay, especially when there's so many other brands out there. Same with makeup. Like, there's just so many other brands that are affordable and out there that it's like, why would I put my money in someone's pocket who's an anti-vaxxer, etc. So I emailed Arctic Fox to ask for confirmation that Kristen Leanne has nothing to do with Arctic Fox, because so far all that's happened is she's posted a video, but like, I don't trust her as far as I could throw her at this point. And I also want to know what that means. When she says, I have nothing to do with Arctic Fox and I've sold my interest, is she still on the board of directors? Is she still making money in any way from the company, etc.? So hopefully by the time I'm editing this video, I can kind of pop in here and let you guys know what the deal is. And my second concern here is Ryan. Now, I believe Ryan is still involved with the company. Now, he is a less public figure than Kristen. However, he is involved in a lot of the allegations in the article, and so it makes me wonder if he is a lesser evil than Kristen, but also still evil. Like, he is still directly involved in the article in, you know, firing people for forcing people to come back into the office and other aspects of the article. So it's like, do I want to be supported? Like, I agree that I'm more inclined to support now that Kristen is out, but it makes me wonder what Ryan's involvement still is, and if he's a shitty person as well. Because remember, Ryan is the one that did not want to support Black Lives Matter because he thought it would be too political. Now, I'm not sure if he agreed with Kristen just to save face, or just to like not have to go against her because she seems bitchy, or if he believes that. And then also he's one of the ones that had those asked people to come back to the office as well as Kristen, and then let them go when they wouldn't do it in the heat of a pandemic when their jobs are marketing, and like you do not need to be in the office for that. I do marketing for a living and I don't do it in the office. I do it at home. So I just like personally, I'm up in the air about what this means for the future of Arctic Fox. I'll be interested to see what they say to me, but like I am still hesitant to purchase from them, and I would love to know. It's so windy. Jesus, that was aggressive. Editing Kayla here. So like I said, I had emailed Arctic Fox over the weekend asking them what was going on. I got no response. So yesterday, which was Thursday, it's Thursday today. Yesterday, which was Wednesday morning, I messaged them on Instagram wondering if they would be more responsive there, because I know they have a social media manager who must be in charge of that. And I said, I'll put the text or the screenshot up here. Hi, is it true that Kristen Leanne has sold her shares of Arctic Fox? If so, can you confirm she will no longer be making a profit off of the company? They replied to me yesterday afternoon and said, hey babe, yes, we have passed ownership over and Kristen is no longer involved in our company, which I assumed was correct because like she couldn't just put that out there and be lying. So I'm happy to hear that. And then I responded again and said, thanks for your reply. Is Ryan still a part owner in the company? Because like I had mentioned throughout this video, Ryan still feels like a shitty person. So I was still unsure about supporting if he was there, and they replied and said, no, he is not. So I guess that's it. Both Ryan and Kristen were out when they said they've passed ownership over. I'm assuming that means that they sold the company together, which makes sense, which makes me think that their involvement must have been tanking the company. And as they saw profits go down, and not go back up now that things are opening a little bit more, they realized that they need to sell now before they tank the company and can't sell it for anything. So that's what feels like is going on here. So I am happy to hear that both Ryan and Kristen are out of the company. And yeah, I guess I'm going to support Arctic Fox again. I literally replied and said, thanks so much for the information. Looking forward to supporting the company again. Because like I said, I love Arctic Fox's hair color. It's so easy to use. I have the X Mondo in my hair right now. And while I do like the colors, there's obviously way less colors with X Mondo and there's way more colors with Arctic Fox. And I find that X Mondo is a very thick formula. It's kind of hard to work with, whereas Arctic Fox is just so easy to work with. The colors show up exactly how you expect them to. They're easy to mix and match, and like you can make all these concoctions, and they're super easy to find because you can get them at Sally's Beauty here in Canada and on Amazon. So I'm pretty excited to hear that both Ryan and Kristen are gone. And I know people will call this cancel culture, but I call it accountability culture. I think that people are voting with their dollars more than ever, and I think that we don't want to support people who are trash, and that's just it. If you don't care about this, that's your prerogative, but I know a lot of people do, and obviously enough to impact their bottom line. So that's the statement from Arctic Fox. I would love to know down below what you guys think about this whole situation. Did you stop supporting Arctic Fox when the Insider article came out? What do you think now? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!